Attention, all curious minds, innovators, and trendsetters. It's time to pause, lean in, and get ready for an extraordinary journey as we dive deep into the fascinating realms of life, technology, entertainment, and business. Let's explore, learn, and grow together. Brace yourselves, for the next thrilling episodes of Hipther Talks is about to take off. Counting down from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here we go.
Hi everyone, Zoltan here. We're back again this week with Hipther Talks, and today we're speaking with Mona Motwani. Hi Mona, nice to have you here.
Hi Zoltan.
All right, so Mona, we have this tradition here on our podcast that we would like to give the opportunity for our guests to say a few words about themselves in their own words, not us reading their bio. So maybe if you can share some words about yourself, career. We will either way touch base on it in length in our podcast, but just let our audience know who they have here today.
Yeah, for sure. Hello everyone. I'm Mona. I am talking this whole podcast from India. I'm a super passionate person with regards to anything gaming and gambling. And I'm in this industry, say, almost 10 years now. And I spent majority of my time with Sportradar for close to 7 years. I was the first person who started this whole space for Sportradar in this part of the world. And we started with integrity services and moved up to every possible department with regards to Asia. That's mainly about me. And currently, I will go more on detail, but I'm right now leading a VC fund called IXIA Studio, which is mainly focusing on India, Africa, and Middle East.
All right, thank you so much. So, like you said, you have been a key role at Sportradar, and you played this role in bringing international brands into the Indian market with Sportradar. So, what were the main challenges you faced, and how did you overcome them? Because that might be not that part of the world might be maybe harder to penetrate with sports betting and casino. So, what were the challenges you faced?
Yeah, so I would like to start this with much before Sportradar. So, say approximately 10 years ago when I was exploring a lot of industries. In that process, I've thought that, okay, this sports and gaming is an industry which gonna grow more and more from there. And that's how I was, in my experience network all across the world, whatever limited I had that time, I started looking for opportunities and companies who would like to come to India and how I can facilitate to come to India. And in that journey itself, I happened to meet Sportradar people, and then they got me an offer on table, which I could not say no, of course, with a very interesting element into it that I'm going to be the first person to open the doors. And imagine open the doors meaning in every possible world you have to talk about gambling, which is a taboo word in India. Even now, I mean, it is still a taboo word, but then it was a crazy time. So much so that I was not sure whether it is the right move for me or not. But I taken the risk, and it paid me really, really well. So, yeah, I remember those times when I used to call people for meetings, because we started with integrity services for Sportradar. And people used to disconnect my calls just because I was talking about match fixing and gaming and gambling and what sort of things. And they were like, oh, there's something fishy going on. So it took me a lot of time, I would say approximately 1 year, to at least make them aware that where I'm coming from, what is my real reason behind it, and why are we actually talking about it. So yeah, I mean, that not only made me, a better person with regards to how to actually make people understand your perspective, which is something which is into gambling, but yeah, it helped us overall. That was the start, and slowly, gradually, setting up things and talking to government, talking to all the leagues, federations, associations, and people who are sitting there. They don't like to hear these words, and coming from a woman, it was all the way more tricky for them to how to actually navigate that. So yeah, it was an interesting journey. When I think about it, I find it very funny, but at the same time, a lot of learning happened in that process.
That's good, because if we take it from a stereotypical point of view, people will go to India to export yoga.
Yeah, correct, yeah.
Yeah, not
That's what
not
they're known
enter
for.
the gambling market.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen those times, where we were there. I mean, it is, of course, the biggest unregulated market out there, but nobody wants to talk about it. And everybody says it's a wrong thing to do. If it is a wrong thing to do, then who's actually doing it? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So when you introduced yourself, you mentioned that you created the IXIA Studio, IXIA Capital,
Yeah.
and you are behind several disruptive projects from which we read. I'm curious about what excites you most about these ventures, and how will they impact the gaming and maybe esports in the regions like India, and we also read that also in the United Arab Emirates.
Yep. So this actually also a very interesting element, how it happened. If you would have asked me like, say 2 years, 3 years ago that, Mona, would you like to even think about getting into VC space? And I was like, no, that's not my domain. That's not how I would imagine myself to be. But interestingly, everything happened in my life made me realize that you cannot really plan your future. And opportunities came my way, and especially in last 1 year when, so I was actually last 2 3 years I was already kind of mentoring and being a part of in personal capacity to all the possible projects coming in my vicinity, be it friends, be it colleagues, be it people who have been there and they want to get into gaming, etc., etc. So I was trying to help them in my personal capacity, but slowly, gradually, I've realized me being there in the position of, in between investors, people who are thinking of launching something, but they're not sure because they have XYZ capabilities. Maybe ABC is missing or something like that, and then people were already there and they want to expand in the different markets. So because of my global exposure with Sportradar for 7 years, knowing the real know-how about how to enter into a market with regards to how it functions, and then product and operations, etc., I was like, okay, I'm in that space where I'm getting all sorts of queries, but I'm not somebody who's been a banker or a traditional VC.
Yeah.
So how do I navigate this whole space? And that's how slowly, gradually, out of a lot of meetings, discussions, exploration, I figured out that in the US, there's a very cool concept called studio, VC studio. And that made me realize that, okay, maybe I'm not one of those traditional VCs, but at least I'm in that space where I can define my own niche by putting a structure in the picture where I'm not only an investor, but also a creator and a builder. So that's how it whole piece came up. And to be very honest, uh, it is something which I don't know anyone else is doing with regards to the mixture of a lot of
Yeah.
things. That's a very interesting element. Yeah.
All right. So I also recently had a fireside chat in Warsaw with a VC fund founder, which is coming also as a podcast in the coming weeks.
Okay.
And I've also asked him these questions about what do you prioritize when investing in high growing gaming or esports startups, and how do you manage risks? Because that's very important, because this is a very fast moving industry.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so from my side, gut feeling is the biggest thing, which I think is my strength so far in life, and it worked out for me. That's one. Second, knowing an industry from where at least I can see of, not many people in the country can actually claim that they have seen that journey for so long, because it's still something which is coming up, right? So that advantage which I had, I was blessed to have it at the right time, at the right place. And then at this stage where I'm 2024, where I'm picking and choosing which product and which project and which founder is the right fit, it's mainly like how much I can contribute, to be honest. If I'm able to contribute in a project in a capacity which can take it to a next level, that's a thing I would really pick up on, compared to if they have everything in place. I would rather just be a friend than an investor.
All right. So the risk is basically you not taking part in that project.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm there and I have that feeling, okay, this project, this product, this idea itself is interesting, how we can make it better.
All right. Makes sense.
Money is something which you can, of course, get from a lot of VCs, much, much bigger than myself, maybe. But point is, how I can add value beyond money is my main motto right now.
All right. So there are a lot of opportunities and challenges in like emerging iGaming markets like India and Africa. So how do you adapt your strategies for each of them? Like, do you have a separate strategy for India and a separate one for Africa?
Okay, so the reason we picked up India, Africa, and UAE. So India, because I'm already there. I'm born, brought up, raised in India. I know India on back of my hand. So the network, the exposure which I had was, of course, the plus thing. But then Africa is something which is upcoming. And
Yeah.
I had in last 2 years interacted a lot with African people, African project, and I kind of, in my personal capacity, visited Africa to understand how it is really growing up. And UAE is just a second home for me, like the network which I've built there, and how especially UAE government is focusing a lot of gaming and esports is an amazing thing, and why would you not be there? I mean, from my side, if you see India and UAE is just my home. So it's very easy and very obvious choice for me. But Africa came up because it's an upcoming market. And, when you see you sitting in India, you don't want to actually think about going to US and Europe in your first phase because that's already there, developed, right? This is an area which is exciting enough and then you are happen to be part of this picture already. Why not pick up that, prove yourself, and then go ahead?
All right. So as a women leader in iGaming, what advice would you give to aspiring women, and how can the industry foster more diversity?
Okay, this question comes a lot to me. I have two answers actually. One is in my personal capacity, as I said, I've been helping a lot of women generally, not just with regards to gaming, because that's kind of comes naturally to me that I got right opportunities, I got right mentorship, I got good friends around me who helped me in my journey, and that's my time now. But with regards to choosing, I don't think it's a gender specific thing, to be honest. It's like if it is really excites you, please do it. If it is not, don't bother about it.
All right.
Because you can only be good. Doesn't matter, men, women. It's if it is good for you, it is good for you. If it is not, then it's not. So don't think about it that okay, you are women, then you might have some different pros and cons because eventually it's all same. But yeah, I'll be honest, when I started this, it was a very interesting journey because a couple of years, I was the only woman in the room, many, many times. And it used to really bother me. But you have some advantages also where you get a lot of attention for the right reasons as well. So yeah, I mean, it's a journey, right? 2024 is different from 2020, maybe 2010 when I started.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would not call it a very gender specific thing, to be honest, but yeah, it's more
If
on your passion. I think that's how
yeah,
you can be successful in life.
if you know your thing, you know your thing. Doesn't
Yeah,
matter your gender.
yeah.
All right. So you're also involved in digital assets and gaming rewards, right? So how do you see these shaping the future of fan engagement in sports and gaming?
We are picking up a few projects. So as I said in IXIA, we are different. The reason we are saying we are different is that we are not only investing and contributing external projects, we're also building our own projects. So slowly, gradually, from now onwards, you will start seeing a lot from my side coming, where projects which are we're launching our own tokens to going into the crypto side of the world and how crypto plus social plus casinos plus sports betting, all of this in combination. That's where we are putting a lot of energies on and learning a lot because a lot of exciting things are there already and how you really innovate your space is something we are doing. So yeah, that's the main motto of actually spending a lot of time on digital assets.
All right. So how does IXIA Studio's hands-on approach with operational support help startups scale successfully?
I'm not sure if I get it. What's the
All right.
question?
So, yeah. So I'm interested if you guys are offering operational supports that are helping startups to scale successfully, not just like scale them and just leave them hanging.
Yeah. No, no. So when you see, it is like we are more or less like a co-founders to them.
Okay.
Where they have maybe they have their idea, but say hypothetically speaking, they might not have good network in a particular market, or they might not have good tech uh, support, or they might not have know-how from the operational perspective. So depend on case-to-case basis how you can actually come at the early stage and shake hands together to at least create the right vision for that company to actually go out and maybe raise Series A. So until Series A, what they really need a lot more than money. I think that's what I think we are we are mapping the gap, I would say.
All right. So maybe can you share, maybe this you can disclose to our audience, if you can share a time when you faced a major challenge in your career and how maybe your strategic problem solving has helped you overcome it.
I've been very lucky, to be honest, that I did not face a lot of challenges. But
Okay.
yes, there were a few areas where I had to be really smart and strategic with regards to how I navigate the situations. So, one of the incidents I remember, so as I already covered, that in India it was a taboo to even talk about gambling. And with regards to government, who is super duper sensitive in India with regards to talking about it, because we are not really ready for legalization yet. And I was heading government relations for Sport Radar. So to be in those rooms where government is not willing to talk about gambling because they are not ready yet, and then you are the one who is actually representing a company who provides data to gambling operators across the world, that was something where a lot of hard work happened from my side, I would say, and how strategically I convinced those stakeholders, regulators, compliance people that okay, why my inputs are really relevant at this stage, even though I understand that as a country in India we are not ready. And be in that room where they have already bifurcated between game of skill and game of chance, and they do not want to care about game of chance. And me coming and actually putting my inputs and my suggestions and my opinions out loud in front of a big room is something which made me a better person, I would say, and boost a lot of confidence in me that okay, if you really know how you really want to do it, then you can do it. It's just that how strategically you can be smart.
All right.
Yeah.
So as my closing question, what's next? So what's next coming this year, in the coming months, and what's next for maybe next year, 2025?
Since we already in October end, I'm not sure if 2024 is something which something you will get something new from me for 2 months. But 2025 is definitely very very interesting, where you will at least get to see three, if not four, projects
All
where
right.
IXIA is launching, and they are mega projects. It's one is a global project and one is an Africa focused project. So a lot of things on the cards.
All right. So
Yeah.
I guess people would just have to look you up online, connect on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
and
I'm
you
super
will be
duper active
sharing the
on
news.
LinkedIn. So yeah, please feel free to reach out to me. Anything, uh, anything I can be of support. I'll be glad.
All right. So, guys, you know what to search. Mona Motwani. You can find her everywhere. Mona, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for our audience for sticking around. And yeah, we'll be back next week with more crazy stuff and more interesting episodes. Thank you. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much for having
And
me.
that's a wrap for this section of Hipther Talks. Thank you for being a part of our journey today. Don't forget to tune in next week for more insights and discussions. Stay connected with us on Spotify, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and more. Until then, keep exploring and keep growing. We'll see you next time.